Hey, brother Dre. Hey, brother Dre. Hey, brother Dre. Don't bring the guest in yet. All right.
No, I wasn't.
All right. So I also went ahead and invited Aldias. He said he wanted to be on, so I sent him a link as well.
Cool. Cool.
Because you went ahead and said that you got good information to talk about. So we're gonna
There's
get
just a couple of things. Go ahead and say hello to our guest who's already been waiting, and we'll get rolling.
all right. Wait a minute. We already on, or we be talking the whole time?
Yeah,
What I need to do?
I told you we live.
I wasn't listening to you, man. I was just about to go ahead and do the little intro anyway. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, your name for Major Mateo Drones. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate the love and support. It's been a crazy Saturday for me. I've been very busy outside, cutting down trees and cleaning up the property a little bit. I think I've already taken down at least 30 trees already. And I got a freaking mess that I'm cleaning up, but it's looking prettier and prettier. Because anytime I get a little bit of rain and a little bit of breeze, Dre, trees,
Mhm.
branches be everywhere, and it is a pain in the ass to clean that up.
I
Anyway,
bet.
we got quite a few people here already in the chat. Mr. Stephen Drones, Mr. Matt Bagwell. We got Digital Kite, who's also our guest. We got Brother Ray Kelly. That's pretty much all we have right now in the chat. So, Dre, if you want to go ahead and do the honors to bring the folks in, I really appreciate it.
Well, Al Diaz got off his stream,
He
but
was
I'll bring.
just on, but he got off.
Yeah, so we'll bring in our guest until Al gets back.
How you doing, Ali?
Hey, I'm good, brother. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty
Great.
good, man. It's been a little minute since the last time I saw you, buddy. You doing all right?
Yeah, I can't complain, man. Just hanging in there, doing my thing, and enjoying life. Getting old.
I hear you, boss. I think we all do. How's the Mavic 3 treating you?
You know what? I'm ashamed to say I've been playing with my mini like crazy. Like I flew it all day today. Like it just
So,
keeps
so let me
impressing
guess,
me.
that Mini 3 Pro?
Yeah, yeah. It just keeps impressing me, and the risk of loss is a heck of a lot less of a concern. And
Yeah.
this thing is just always with me. Like it's like always in my bag. So every
Is
time I
that the
need to
one?
go
You
up,
got the one with the RC Pro or using your
yeah,
phone? Okay.
RC Pro. So connection is ridiculously reliable. It's my favorite thing is just that it's quiet and it does everything I need it to do.
I mean,
So
I've been hearing a lot of good feedback from a lot of folks about that Mini 3 Pro with the RC Pro. Matter of
yeah,
fact, let me go ahead and bring in Aldias. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
can hear
got
you
you.
just fine. He also
good,
got
Okay,
the
brother.
same drone,
Adrian.
Ali, and he loved it as well.
Audley,
Yeah,
that's your name? What's going
yeah.
on, man? I've seen
What's
some of
going
your
on, Al?
content on Facebook. It's good stuff.
What's that?
I've seen some of your content on
Oh,
Facebook. It's
I
good stuff.
appreciate that, brother. Thanks, man.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. How's everybody doing?
We're doing pretty good,
Can't
man.
complain.
Hey, Ali, Ray Kelly said that you guys were actually at a little drum meetup.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. It was a nice surprise. Happened to be in Florida, visiting some family, and I just kept saying, I got to go see Ray because he's up here in New York, and we never get a chance to fly. And I said, well, now that I'm not working and I had some time, I made the effort to go drive to his neck of the woods down there in Florida, and it was a great morning, great time.
Okay. How you doing, Leno JSK Enterprise? Thank you for popping in. Really appreciate it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up on the stream. I really appreciate it. I did went ahead and get a little bit of footage, Aldias, of the people actually cleaning up my property. Not that
Oh,
much,
cool,
but I got me about a good little 5, 7 minutes of it
That's good.
with that
That's
Mavic
good.
3. It came out pretty good.
nice. So you got professionals in there doing it. I thought you were doing it.
I mean, I was doing it too. I got on that tractor. I don't mind getting dirty.
Yeah.
I got on. I was
Okay.
pushing it. I was bringing him down. chopping it
Nice.
down. I let the machine do all the work. I would just
Oh, okay.
do the controller. But
Good, good.
it was pretty nice.
What did you pay for it?
Pay for what?
For the service?
I know you will ask me some dumb shit like that. I'm not disclosing that. Only you will ask me that.
Because I know what you did.
You don't know shit.
I know. You told me. Unless you were BSing me. If you told everybody in this chat right now, they would say, "How could you?" Hopefully that person's not watching.
This is the reason
stay
why I
quiet.
don't like to invite Latinos from Cuba in my damn show. They talk a lot of trash.
Oh man.
But I love you, Aldia. You my boy.
I appreciate that, Adrian. You're good people. So is Dre. And oddly, I'm sure you're good people too. A lot of good people in this community.
Yeah, man.
Well, I feel honored having Oddly here with us tonight. I've been watching your videos, dude. You and I can't think of the guy's name there in New York City. You guys are just some awesome editors, dude. You guys turn some standard footage. I mean, the footage is awesome too, but like I tell folks, the editing is the magic. It's like the icing on the cake and stuff, man. And the way you guys just use that footage and just create some magical moments with the stuff you got.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
That and music. Music is the key. It's half the time I'll film according to the song that's in my head. Like I'm all about that audio. It makes such a difference.
Yeah. I go out and fly it, and I'm thinking of a certain beat or something I've already downloaded. Because sometimes I'll just spend a day on Epidemic Sound. That's where I get most of my stuff from, and just download stuff that I know I like. Yeah. And then I think about it later on when I'm flying.
As you're filming, Yeah,
I'm filming and just add that to it. Stuff. So it's something else, man. But that it is nice when you get both of them come together like that.
Yeah, appreciate it. I've been checking out your fleet. I like those shots where you show the cameras and the some sexy shots of the equipment. That's hot.
Yeah,
product display at its best.
Yeah,
he been showing up, Ali, with the little smooth walk. You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that.
He got the suit. He got a little hat. You know what I mean?
Got the hat.
Y'all think it's a smooth walk, but see, I'm old. You talking about Gino? I'm 61 old. When we 62 here this year, dude. Okay. I'm verified. So when I walk slow, that is on purpose.
That's a diligent walk.
That is it. Yeah.
So, Oddly, you out of New York?
Yes, sir. I'm out on Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. I was born and raised in the Bronx. Moved out here to California in 1987.
Oh, okay. Nice. Actually, junior high school era was in the Bronx, Parkchester, Castle Hill.
Oh yeah, Castle Hill. That's why I moved out by Quimby Avenue in Havenmire. By the Bronx Expressway. A lot of good times as a lot of good times as a youngster out there.
Okay, so how long have you been out in Cali?
Most of my adult life, I would say probably 45 years, 40 years, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's been a long time. But I never forget. I want to go back home and visit. I'm not much for planes. My sister lives out there. She's in Yonkers. I've been meaning to get out there, but thinking about maybe this summer. Head out there, bring my drone, and maybe meet up with a couple of people, show me some spots and catch footage. No, definitely.
Yeah, I was funny you mentioned Yonkers. I was just up there. I think it was last week at the that factory that was closed down. It was like an old, factory with 2 smokestacks. It's JFK Marina. It's called the JFK Marina Park. Right.
All I know about Yonkers is my sister works out at Yonkers Raceway.
Okay.
She works out there. That's about it, man. It's been a long time. Been a very long time.
Yeah. Oh, well, when you come into town, let me know. I would go
Definitely will.
And go fly.
Okay.
So,
cool,
Ali, a quick question: did you use the Mini 3 Pro when you took those pictures in Williamsburg, Brooklyn?
Yeah, that was the Mini 3. Crazy, right? Like not even
the pictures are pretty nice, man.
Little thing is incredible, and that's why I took it because when I left the house, it was actually drizzling. So I said, all right, let me bring that out because I'm not as obviously I don't want to lose any drone, no drone down, but I figured if I got to lose something, I'd rather lose that. Right? But it's also so quiet. I'm still blown away how quiet it is. Nobody even turns around and looks at you. Not that I'm doing anything that I shouldn't be doing, but you know how it is. You flying and everybody's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that." They don't even notice that. I'm holding my controller, and I can flip from the phone to the RC Pro. But even with the RC Pro, that I just look like I'm playing a video game. Nobody's paying me no mind.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great little bird. Camera's pretty good too. A lot better than people would think.
Yeah. They've done their thing with it. It is impressive. But yeah, I walk with it everywhere I go. So it just makes it so convenient to just capture what I need to capture.
Right.
So Dre, you have some topics that you wanted to go ahead.
Well, this has been going on, I guess, in different states around the country. The same old, I don't want to say same old stuff, but I guess is getting pretty more serious as different communities are trying to create laws to limit or control drone activity. And just like recently, I guess it was a place in New Jersey, Woodward, New Jersey, that was trying to limit the amount of usage of drones during tourist season coming up this summer. And I guess I heard about that part of it on somebody else's show, and then Lawrence and Herman were talking about it with Ryan Lartriette on their show Wednesday, and he said they've already spoken with that city leadership, and they're pulling that off the table for right now until they get further guidance. And what gets me, I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. This is the template letter that they're using in New York, okay? And they're asking people to, change it to whoever your local representative is in your area, and you can take out, because this assembly bill is usually a state bill, but you can put in your state information or whatever the case may be and send it off to your local representatives and have them, or at least find out where they stand on drones and so forth. Because as you said, we come up on remote ID and other things that are happening in what we do. There's other factions trying to even put the clamps on it. And I say, me as a commercial pilot, it doesn't affect me as much as recreational pilots. Okay, as a commercial pilot, I still get things done because I go through the steps through the FAA and everything else to get the permission to do it. But like I say, for recreational people, this is going to really affect what you guys can and can't do. We're talking about all these things like FRIAs and CBOs and all this kind of stuff.
Dre, I don't mean to interrupt
go ahead.
you. I have a question for you. What if you decide that you're not flying commercial on that particular day? You're going to be a hobbyist. Not right. Saying that, but you have that option, right? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you always have that option.
This pertains to everyone. Well, ultimately.
Yeah, it pertains to everyone ultimately. Like I said, because there's times where I may not be, flying for commercial purposes and just flying for as a hobbyist. So I can say, it's going to affect us all, because even right now we talk about FRIAs, they're talking about only limited to maybe only 2,000 areas. Well, that's not going to cover even probably a handful of states, let alone a whole country. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're saying, that, we need to start advocating our local representatives and find out where they stand, because like I say, our sister organization, the AMA, has basically dropped the ball. And this is, in my opinion, this is me personally talking. I don't feel sorry for them having to comply with remote ID because how they treated us. Now, me personally, I haven't been confronted because I don't go in the AMA fields. The closest AMA field to me is up in the high desert somewhere. It's about almost an hour drive for me to go
AMA
fight an
field
AMA field.
They don't want you on a flying drone.
Right. I've heard that. Constant stories, even over in other countries where they have their own version of AMAs. They do not care for quadcopters, FPVs, all that kind of stuff. They want it just for what their fixed wing aircraft. So I can say, for me, I don't really feel bad that they have to comply with this, but I know there is a legislation or I say a act that's trying to get the weight limit changed from the 250 gram to up to about 1 kilogram and stuff. And that's basically those guys who fly the fixed wing, because now, they got their feelings hurt, because now they understand that this remote ID is not just for copters. This is for everybody. And that's why I tell folks that the definition of a drone is very vast. It includes, I say, it's an unmanned aerial system. So that includes fixed wings, FPVs, quadcopters, regular helicopters. Anything that flies that is not manned can basically fit in the category of a drone.
Yep.
And that's why I said it, everybody's trying to getting their feelings hurt and stuff. And, so these things are out there, but it is working into our best interests to reach out to our local representatives to find out where they stand, because we as a community, all we can do is voice an opinion. It's going to be our local representative who actually carry votes, who will vote on these type of things or recommend certain things to the FAA. This is what you do because Congress mandates it for you to do this. So like I say, it's not really up to us anymore. It's basically going to be up to our representatives to pass some common sense. Oh, I hate these words, common sense, but that's what it is. Some kind of common sense laws that are going to at least allow us to enjoy and allow us to conduct ourselves in an appropriate manner out there flying. So I like I say, the AMA, like I say, like Doc said, they dropped the ball. They snubbed the drone community. They didn't think we were important. They didn't think we were worth reaching out to and playing with and everything. So like I said, I can't feel sorry for them having to be under the same regulations as us for 100%. I feel like this is your time to enjoy the hardships and the regulations that we have to deal with. And like I say, one of the projects that I work on that I've been doing for over 18 months now, these guys, it's not an AMA field, but every time I would go out there, these guys were flying their planes and stuff. And I would do the polite thing. I would stop by about 4 or 5 guys. I would stop and ask them. I say, hey, I'm out here doing some mapping work. What altitudes are you guys flying at? And I let them know where I was at. So there's not going to be an issue of us crossing paths in the airspace. So I've always reached out to them, be polite, treat them professional like I want to be treated, and go on from there. But I know that type of attitude does not go both ways when it comes to
I've had some of them
people.
be completely. I've had some of them just be completely dick with me. They don't give a damn. They literally told me, "We don't want drones here. You gotta go fly something else."
Yeah,
and experience long ago.
And that's a sad thing. They don't consider themselves drones. That's what baffles me. I said, dude, you're a drone.
You are a drone. Yeah.
You are a drone yourself. So telling me to go pound sand is just like, it's like slapping your own child.
Yeah.
It's stuff. It's like it doesn't make any sense. But you need to reach out to your local representatives and find out where they're at on as far as the drone community as a whole. You'd be surprised how many people just like us who are engaged in the hobby, either be fixed wing from a long time ago or currently, or some who are into what we do now, FPVs and regular quadcopter drones. You'd be surprised who you may run into who's actually lurking in the back of these live streams that we do, who are just listening to what's being said. And that's why I tell people, I said, we're being watched constantly on YouTube and Facebook or whatever. So that's why I tell folks, be careful what you post.
Oh yeah.
I say what we may actually do is one thing, but when you post it, then you're
careful.
You got to be careful. Yeah. I said, You know, you don't want to be posting stuff that you know is going to draw attention from those who sit at high places and come down and hammer you. A lot of guys,
or even those that sit at low places and just want to cause problems and
right,
portray the information, like that guy that was stupidly at an air show, but he got caught because someone took a picture and blew it up and said, "Hey, go investigate this." And then how did they find him? Because of his posts. I was like, "Come on, dude."
Yeah, and that happened over in the UK, and I said,
UK,
and I think it was over about a year ago. Somebody, I don't know if it was a Photoshop job or whatever. Somebody in the Detroit, I guess they had an air show, and somebody says they put a drone up as the I don't know, it was the Air Force or the naval pilots or whatever flying, and you knew they had to be close up to get a shot like that. And so, like I said, these things just draw negative attention that we don't need. So that's my biggest thing. Go ahead, Adrian.
Give me a minute. Let me go ahead and welcome Barkley 107 Drones, Jack Rabbit PV, JDS Flying Canic, Doc Murdoch. Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate it. Oh, Paul Widgenbig, thank you for being here. Tell you why I say happy birthday. Really appreciate it. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of bureaucratic bullshit going on, like JDS Flying Canic is saying. Too much red tape, too much BS.
But wouldn't you say a bulk of that is coming from, let's all be honest, most of our drone components and drones are coming from China. And I think our politicians and all that, they want to secure the national airspace. And they're worried that these machines can take images and they have access to it. And I'm not saying what side I'm on. Because I have a business and I do all my stuff using DJI drones, so hopefully that never would come into effect. But I've always had that feeling that this is all stemming from that, and it only seems to be getting worse.
Yeah, and that's the sad part, Al, is that it has become a political scenario, because it's kind of I say ironic that drones have to be at the forefront of this. But just about every electronic device that we have in our possession in America comes, either the chips, manufacturers, or whatever, come out of that part of the world. Whether it be China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, you name it. If you crack open your phone, you'll see chips made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Korea, all this kind of stuff. If you're like me, home theater, most of your home theater gear, no matter it's Pioneer, Denon, whoever else, that kind of stuff, a lot of components inside of that gear is made from overseas in somewhere in some Southeast Asian country, for to speak of. And actually our drones are direct results of that. Like I say, it's hard to find a truly made drone in the USA. And then those who do make drones in the USA are not in the consumer market per se. They know where the money's at. You do something commercially, you get a government contract and all of a sudden you're worth millions and billions of dollars because you got a government contract, but not one consumer person can buy your drone. Most of us don't even know the names of these companies because they never do anything for the consumer. But this is what our elected officials are telling us, that we need to buy American-made drones or something ridiculous. Like I think I heard a couple weeks ago about Mississippi talking about if it wasn't made or built in Mississippi, you can't fly it. I'm like, give me a break.
What the heck did they make that we can fly?
Yeah, that's it. I was like, this is how you go from one extreme to the other, and it's just ridiculous. And like I said, you got different states now that are banning drones that come from other parts of the world. Yeah. For what purpose? Has a drone harmed anybody? Even just from regular flying, not the point of it where it's made at or anything, or you think it's transmitting data. It's a political pawn, and that's what it is. I said this as much data can be sent through your cell phone than any drone we can put in the air.
Well, that's what kills me when people say, "Hey, are you taking pictures?" I'm like, everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's taking pictures. So
everybody's taking pictures.
20 feet off the floor, or
that's the fear. That's the fear because it's in the air. That's
right.
They're scared of.
And the biggest thing is because of the access we have with our phones in our pockets and stuff, we go inside more sensitive locations with our phone pinging our locations more than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, look at all the employees that work at some of these secure locations. All got cell phones, and most of them got some kind of tracking system on their phone. Google search or whatever location, whatever, and everything operate on their phone. So, like I said, it's just ridiculous. But this is the world we live in today, and this is stuff we have to deal with. So, like I say, you got to reach out to your elected officials and find out where they're at and go from there. And so that way we know as a community what legislations or what legislators we need to support and interact with.
Now, what is our local officials going to do about it?
Well, like I say,
first of all, hold on. Let me welcome Teach Giggle, Farts and Drones, Marcelo Volaces. Thank you for popping in. Really appreciate it. Go ahead, Dre.
No, I was just about to say is that even local officials and everything else, a lot of the nonsense is at the local level, the true nonsense at the local level. And you have people in city council seats, city managers and whatever, and you'll be surprised that these individuals at local levels will kowtow to wherever they think their voting base is. No matter what their actual stance is, they want to make sure the whole thing is keep getting reelected. That is what it's all about. A lot of city council positions don't even get paid money, but it's about the influence of their power makes the difference, and so to speak. So that's what I'm saying. Is sometimes it's not about them getting dollars firsthand or whatever. It's the influence that they carry and the things they can do in their community to make a difference. So a lot of times they will cater to those who vote. Yeah, and that's why I say that's why we need to vote.
And it's kind of like what Audley said about people with camera phones on the Journal Veteran. Everybody got a camera phone taking pictures, and you might be in the picture not intentionally, but you're still in the picture. What's the difference between me flying my drone, doing my thing, and I'm just taking aerial footage like you did on your, on the beautiful picture you took with a Mini 3 Pro? What's the difference?
Yeah. And I always, whenever I get approached, I'm like, here, look, I got nothing to hide. Look what I'm doing. I'll show them.
That's exactly what I do.
Kill them with kindness, and you try to do it, but it's annoying, especially when you're focusing on $1,000 in the air, and you're trying to fine tune and get that shot and line something up. And here's this one asking you questions. It gets frustrating, and we got to be professionals and do what we need to do, but it's still a pain in the because once you explain it, and then you bring down the volume and the tension, everything is cool, but enough already. Because like I said, the first thing I say is like, you got a smartphone, you take pictures with your phone, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing. And then I showed them where I am, and I can't see, the cellulite on your wife's legs. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at more beautiful things up here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just like
it's funny you mentioned that. The other day I was actually shooting offsite, Dre, because you say the same thing. You shoot offsite, you got a better angle, you can see the drone a lot better from in the sky. So I'm across the street at this park that was just built, and this development, it's like 51 acres, it's nearing the end. And every time I go, there's a family always running into me. And primarily Indian and Asian, but just like you guys mentioned the other day, they came up, and one of the adult parents started asking questions while and hey, take a look. It slowed everything down, but kind of knew I had to do it and speak on behalf of all of us and those who fly, and didn't want to be an idiot. But other than slowing it down, I felt good kind of telling them, hey, don't be afraid. This is what's up there doing, and it's for good. It's just progress photos.
Man. We got to do that.
Now, Audley, are you commercial, Part 107?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you done professional work and stuff. And that's what gets me is that in the industry, especially like Alan, in construction industry, drones are being used more and more and more every day. Yeah. Like I said, I was out doing a job today. Al's doing work constantly now that he's retired. doing every day of the week and so forth. So, like I say, it's becoming part of the industry. No matter what you focus on, it be construction or real estate, housing, or something else. This is becoming normal, but it's not normal out in the general public, and that's why I'm saying that is where we would think the transition would be becoming a lot easier instead of harder, because of the fact that you're seeing these things in television all the time. You see the things, and like I say, construction all the time. I even construction sites I don't work on, I might see somebody else out there with a drone flying, and my only thing is, man, I wish I got that contract.
I've been at construction sites when filming. There's another drone on site, and I'm completely unaware
on the same site.
Wow. On the same site, but they're there for another company, because usually they're shooting for the framing company.
Yeah,
and they're there for the general contract, just a general contractor, and in general, the exterior guys who put the exterior sheathing and all that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to run into.
Right. So I mean, you would think as it spreads through the industrial community, it's like it'd be an easier transition, but it's like it's just getting harder.
My concern is, even when we talk to our politicians, and like when FAA allowed us to put in our 2 cents, I feel like we didn't get anything done. It's like, one way or another, it's coming down to the dollars and the big boys that can afford the UPS and the beyond line of sight guys that are trying to do deliveries. When it's all about getting that airspace, and the ones that got the deep pockets to afford it. It's like we're just the little guys, and as much as we love it, and some of us make money off of it and are passionate about it, we don't have the pockets, and it's unfortunate. As much as I hear you, and I hear what Lawrence and the guys are saying about contacting your politicians, and if you think it's going to help, hats off to you, and I hope it does. But not to get into politics, but I feel like I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah,
we can talk all we want.
And like I say, your sentiment is pretty much the norm. And myself being involved in politics since I got out of the military, so that's going on close to 45 years now.
Thanks for your service.
That was just one of my passions, especially when you get stationed on both sides of the country, and you see communities and how they have developed, how they've been mismanaged and everything else. And I told my wife when I was stationed up in Oregon, I said, where we go, I finally get out of this gun club, I told her I'm going to be involved with my local community no matter what. And it'd be through volunteerism or running for office or whatever, because I just have a passion for trying to see things get done correctly and everything. And like I said, I even ran for mayor of my own city. I came in 5th out of a pool of 10 and stuff. But what it allowed me to do, it gave me a voice and a seat at the table and stuff, that people know that I have something to say and I'm not just spouting nonsense, and that I do get inquiries into my thought process now. So if nothing else, since I didn't win the seat, at least I know when I do speak at public forums and so forth, I could be taken a little more seriously because of the efforts and stuff. And that's all. I can't ask that nobody else. Politics is not for everybody. I always tell people, I said, "Well, could you run for school board or something like that?" I said, "Dude, school boards are about doing things for the kids and everything else, and I believe in that too. But I'm more the type of person of holding folks accountable, and that means I'm not going to take the nonsense. I said, no, you're screwing up, all this kind of stuff. I want to hold people accountable, and school boards are not really geared for that. They're more like, let's find some more funding for the bands and the arts and everything else and stuff. Trying to make everybody happy and pat little Susie and little Johnny on the head and say, good job. Well, I'm ready to hammer some teachers and principals and counselors and stuff. How come you didn't do what you're supposed to do?
What you said you were going to do.
Yeah, what you said you're going to do. So why is a school that we put you in charge of still failing when you said you're going to do all these different things to change that number around? And we've given you plenty of time to do it. So, yeah, there are certain places you need to be and some places you don't need to be.
Let me go and welcome Ray of Sunshine, Drone on the Bayou. We also got Michael Drones on RC. Thank you for popping in. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So Ali, I have not been around you in the past, so I'd like to hear your story, man.
Me, I'm just a regular guy, man. I got to a place in life where I was let's see, I was always in the car business, so selling cars. So I had unusual days off. I had the ability to be there for my children growing up, the PTA meetings, the after school programs, the check the homework, because I had management positions, so I could take off when I needed to. But for the most part, I worked on the weekends. But during the week when my kids needed me, I was there. And so now that they're grown, college, grown up, I just became a grandfather. Not just, but now I'm a grandfather. Thanks. So now I guess I had that empty nest feeling where it's like, okay, I need something to do. And drones found me, I should say. And it's just been the best in terms of keeping my sanity and just, it's not even about, a paying job is nice, but I still enjoy, like today was just literally just gathering some stock footage just to gather some stock footage. I didn't have any real purpose, and it was the most relaxing and enjoyable experience. So that's just me, man. I just right now just capturing stuff for stock photography and stock video, and just enjoying it and doing it for fun more than anything.
Okay. Favorite spot to fly in New York?
My favorite spot, Brooklyn. Brooklyn all day. Because
that skyline is changing over there.
The skyline is changing. You can see New York City. You can fly legally, and nobody bothers you. Nobody cares. You fly out here in Long Island. Worse if you go further east to Suffolk County. It's like you feel like you're flying at the White House. It's just like constant. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Well, let me see what you're doing. It's just a constant. You constantly have to be explaining yourself.
I always wonder, why is it that we all get harassed when you're flying your drone when you don't even know what the hell I'm doing? How about you ask me? You know what I mean? Like, don't assume I'm doing something just because you see a drone up in the air.
Yeah.
You don't even know if I'm just taking pictures, videos of like yourself, a nice building. You know what I mean?
That's it. Sunset,
the water.
whatever.
You know what I mean? Something.
Yep. Listen,
what are you doing? That's not none of your business what I'm doing.
The other day I went up north. We went like an hour plus upstate with Deneen, Deneen Pagan. She's an incredible photographer and videographer. She
her on Facebook. She hangs out with Stevie Bronx.
Right. Guys, yeah. Right? We hang out every now and then. And we went upstate and we're at this reservoir. Nobody's around. It's freezing cold. It's like, just about sunset, and people are jogging back and forth, and every other person stops and is like, hey, what are you guys doing? They were pleasant and they were friendly, but it was like, I'm not running behind you wondering what are you doing. You're obviously jogging, go about your business. Right. But at the same time, you're like, oh, we're just flying drones and do the whole, here you go, and let them see and have their little conversations. But it's just, like you said, Adrian, it's like, I don't go up to strangers and ask them, what are you doing?
For example, like you said, they were jogging. Did you stop anybody and say, hey, why are you jogging? Why are you here?
Yeah. How many miles you did so far? How many calories you burned? I didn't ask them any of that.
Yeah.
It's just like, we just looked at it. We both had a bird in the air and we looked at each other like, just like, what? Okay. And just kept flying. But it's funny how, my point is, it's just funny how strangers just come up to you like they have the authority to. And they'd be offended if I asked them, some personal question about what they're doing.
Yeah. So my question to you now: what software do you use to edit?
I use Lightroom for photos, and I use Final Cut Pro for videos.
Okay, we got a Mac guy in the house finally.
Yeah.
So how long have you been into the editing? Is that something you just picked up quickly, or you already been
Well,
tapping with it?
Well, I was into I DJ'd professionally, and I had a little music studio, so I was always into creative production in terms of audio.
Okay.
But I had some, some like video that I would implement, but it wasn't drone, it wasn't aerial footage.
Hmm.
So I had some editing capabilities back in the days. But I just, as I, thank God for YouTube. As I continued to play with it, I just kept saying, how do you do this on Final Cut Pro? And you go to YouTube and somebody will explain it.
Right.
And you just test out everything that, they implement. I'll do it as they're saying it, and I'm watching the video, and then I'll try my own version of it and just keep experimenting. And then seeing, other people doing what they do and just say, hey, I like that idea. I'm going to use that concept or that idea and implement it with my own images and my own music.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
just
like
trial
what you
and
guys
error.
are doing in the cities. Obviously, I don't have that opportunity here in San Jose because the airport is like right there. But
Yeah.
are you working with hyperlapse? Because I see a lot of people in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
The flyers over there doing a lot of hyperlapse.
Yeah,
they look
hyperlapses,
amazing.
they're great, man. I love doing hyperlapses. And that's the good thing about New York, because it's so compact. There are you got to know where to go and how to maneuver. And there are places where you can do what you need to do legally. And thank goodness have some incredible backdrops. But I'm grateful to be in a place where I can experiment.
My next question to you, Audley, would be this. And when I was living in the Bronx, when I was 15 years old, you got your sneakers stolen if they were new.
Yeah.
So I would be scared flying a drone somewhere in the Bronx or somewhere, in Brooklyn, because I don't know if it's changed. I haven't been there in so long. And that's what I remember.
Changed. It has changed a little bit, but like with everything and everywhere, you just got to be mindful, pay attention. If you're going to be flying by yourself, I try to stay in the car, have the sunroof open, but stay in the car. So I'm like not standing out like a sore thumb. My biggest concern is the brothers and sisters that do FPV. I tip my hat to you, because now you're blind. You're out there like this. I don't know how you guys do that without somebody else. Because even when I'm flying and I'm distracted, at least I can look up and kind of see what's going on and then go back to it. But I just be mindful of where you're going, and don't stay long. As a New Yorker, I've learned, don't stay long. Do what you got to do. If it feels funny, you'll burn a battery and bounce. That's what I call it.
Burn a battery, bounce. That's pretty wild. And I can say, for me, being from California, and Al probably saying, well, everything is so open spaced out here, and we kind of like, I'm gonna get out the car, I'm gonna, throw them bowls out there and stuff, and
just relax.
yeah.
I'd be a little tense flying in New York City. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I tell you, I have never flown in my car, never.
Yeah,
I would feel weird sitting in my car flying. I was like, no, I'm getting out.
I tried the other day, but I got out, Trey. I couldn't do it in the car.
Yeah,
just the fact that I couldn't see it, I went out.
Yeah, it's just I get my cones out there, got a little room, and stuff. I mean, there's times I feel bad because I don't put my landing pad out, but I'm like, I'm on asphalt, big deal, But
that's mostly like if I know I'm in an area where. One, if it's cold and I'm just going in to kind of warm up, because sometimes
that's another thing too. See, this last week deal we here in California is probably the coldest it's been probably since the 70s.
You guys were getting snow.
Yeah, we got hammered, dude. The people still.
San Bernardino County got hammered.
The mountains right above me, Big Bear, and you hear things like Running Springs and stuff. That's 25, 30 minutes from my house going up the mountains. And those folks are literally snowed in. They can't get out. Like I said, the snow plows only hit the major arteries. They don't hit the little side streets. And there might be 4 or 5 houses down these side streets, and the snow might be about 4 or 5 feet deep. So they're stuck and stuff. Wow. But I guess
used to it. Oof.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We're not used to it. Not in this amount of snow in a short amount of time is a big thing. and stuff. So like I said, for me, the weather, flying in cold weather is like today, it was a comfortable 65 today. Went out, flew a business. I was out there probably about an hour and a half and got my car, and the only thing that drew people's attention, because I was using the Fimi Palm 2 Pro, I just got one of those, and I was filming myself, just to see how it does, because it has that auto tracking on it, and that thing tracked me everywhere I moved and stuff. I would have had a nicer video to put up if I'd have had my little mic system set up right, because it has a jack in the back of it for a 3.5 millimeter, and you can use the Rhodes mic or any other type of mic system to feed into the camera. So you don't have to hold it in your hand or anything like that, and you can have it on your lapel like a regular system, and talk right into it as you're doing your thing.
Dre, did you use the Fimi to shoot your video you posted earlier today?
That video day was shot with the original Fimi Palm and the Fimi Palm 2.
Okay.
2 Pro. I use the Fimi both of them, because like I said, I try to go with the big DSLR, the gimbal act and stuff. And I'm like, man, this is just getting too hard, too much equipment to carry around, and I got a drone, all that equipment. Like
That's
I
why
say,
I love this little guy.
yeah.
Put
And
in your
like I say,
pocket and walk out. You'd be good to go.
And I said, well, these little handheld gimbal systems here, they shoot great. They shoot great footage for me for what I do, and I can't complain about it. Like I said, I like them. Like I got another one coming already.
I saw you had the the big boy, the M30. Did you get an Enterprise as well, the new Mavic 3 Enterprise?
No, I haven't bought one of those yet. And so
seriously,
that would be something I may buy towards the end of the year. And like I say, for me buying it is not because I really want it. It's tax purposes.
Yeah.
It's all about tax purposes. It's and when it first came out, plus I'm trying to see, let Al work all the bugs out of it, so I know I have to worry about it, because Al's using it like crazy.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, Al's got it.
The thermal I used a few times. I was hoping to use more. But the Enterprise, I use it for mapping.
That's what I'm saying, for mapping.
How's
it been working out for you? It's doing its thing. It's reliable.
It's what, the P4P is just as reliable. It has just as much features. The camera's just as good. But
because they just did an update for it, and they said it was.
They did an update. They added the orbit. Because if you buy their Enterprise edition of the drones from DJI, you don't get kind of all the components you would get like your Autel, your commercial Autel, your enterprise Autel drones that have all that stuff. So that's what they're lacking. But ultimately, you can rely on DJI to come through in the end. When everybody was crying, even myself with the Mavic 3 when I first purchased it, everybody's like, "Oh,
the telephoto lens is terrible."
Yeah, exactly.
And then when they fixed it, boy, did they fix it.
Yeah. And that's why I try to tell people, with these enterprise drones, you're getting a drone that is built for a specific purpose.
Right.
You're not getting a Swiss Army knife that does everything. And it's like I flew my Mavic Enterprise Advanced, and I told people I'm flying these drones. I don't really fly a lot. I'm flying them more so I can learn more what's in the deep avenues of the menu. And I found that panorama, Al, the other day. That's why I posted that picture. That thing, I said, that thing takes an awesome panorama shot, but that's all it does. It has no manual camera settings in there for you to mess with. None.
So it's not a photography drone, and people forget that.
Here's the thing. You got the Hasselblad camera I've been shooting with these construction sites, and then I bring the Enterprise there to shoot these single shots and these panel shots, and they're not looking the same as the Mavic 3 with the Hasselblad camera.
Right.
So it's like, okay, now I'm just going to use it for mapping, and you're kind of wondering, like, damn, I should have just kept the P4P and rolled with it. But after, some of my batteries on the P4P, I got about 15 of them. They're starting to get cracks. Life on the battery starting to get a little bit, older, because you can hold down the battery and the bars will kind of, bump up to where, the life cycle's at.
Wake up.
Right.
So, it's a great drone, but it's how old? 6 years old. So,
and that's why I was telling people. I said, I got 4 of those Phantoms that I use for mapping, and that's primarily what I use. I mean, sometimes I'll break them out, and I'm using if I'm on a certain job, shooting other stuff, because it does a lot of great things still. but the mapping is the primary thing I use them for. And like I say, you know, with the new Mavic 3 Enterprise, longer battery life. So I mean, one battery in that is almost like 2 batteries in a Phantom. So it's like, so in other words, I can get away with maybe 3 to 4 batteries for that Enterprise Mavic, and like I say, you know, I can get more done with that one battery than I would have to do with maybe 2 or 3 extra batteries with the Phantom. So that's the only thing different. Like I said, the camera, when you like I tell folks now, Al knows this, when you're shooting stuff for clients, for as mapping and stuff, there is no post work. There is none. They want the raw, untouched photos, the upload from you or you upload to their system, and that's it.
They'll do
they'll do the work how they want it, and that's it. They don't want no post work at all. None.
I will tell you, I do have 3 clients I process maps for, Dre.
Yeah, you process the
2D
maps.
They're only 2D maps. They're not survey grade. They have no
right.
You know, ground control point set to them
right.
or anything like that. They're just there for saying, hey, this is how it looks, the whole site, because I can't go over certain allotted altitude and get the whole picture. So that's what I'm doing. But
the same thing with those so many number of photos you shoot, you're not doing any post processing.
No,
individual photos. That's what I'm saying. That
there's really no need for it.
There's no need for it for one thing, but like I said, everybody's talking about, well, you have to go in and mess with the photo a little bit here. I said, no, they don't want that. They want just the raw photos, put the picture together, and send it to us. And that's what I like about it. To me, I mean, I don't have to sit there and take 500 photos and sit there and contrast a little bit, expose a little bit here, delete, you know, you got to do none of that kind of stuff. Just take it and send it. And it's good to go. Hey, what's up, Chris Hope?
Hey, brother, Chris Hope.
So Adrian, did you see?
How you doing, bro?
Adrian playing video games.
No, I was one of
Adrian begging for money, and he's playing video games. While Dre's running the show, and Audley's telling. What do you have a video from Audley? Adrian, do you have a video? One of his videos?
Do I watch his videos?
No.
Do
you have
one
to share with us tonight?
Yeah, there's people putting up links for you to share their
Wait
stuff.
a minute.
See that?
Hold on, I was just seeing that someone, L.A. Casiado, the Adventure Awaits, was asking if the trust test, the test has to be taken every year. The trust certificate.
No.
Right. That's why I wanted to just answer him. I didn't get a chance to answer.
Yeah, the trust test is once and done.
Yeah.
Take it one time, you're done with it. It's just a knowledge test is all it is.
Yep.
I got to do my research this May. Be my 3rd one, I think it is.
Yeah.
I just did mine recently. I just got mine right here. I got it online. I remember I did pay for it like 2-3 times. It was $150 I had to pay. But now obviously it's free. You just do it online. So
right.
Oh, this one was free, right? Online, right?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Okay. You scared me, dude. I
was gonna say what $150.
I'm talking about before all this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, man, don't get me upset like that. That's what made me more nervous than anything else. When I first took my test, man, was like, I don't want to screw this up and lose $150.
Yeah, I studied like crazy. I was watching movies while I'm watching movies with my wife, and I'm like studying on my phone, taking these practice tests just to make sure I pass. Because I was like, I ain't doing this again.
Yeah, I said that made me have more anxiety from that, because I did not want to go back home and tell my wife I failed this test. And the first thing she gonna say is, "How much did it cost?"
And you got to do it again. You got to
do it again. Yeah. And they said you got to pay again too. Yeah.
You want to talk about pressure? Here's pressure. My wife had to do something right after the test, so not only did she come with me, she went to like a restaurant nearby and waited while I took the test. So I was like, oh God, I had to pass.
You don't want to walk out the door dead.
Oh no, that was not an option.
Yeah.
So this is one of the videos right here.
Oh, thanks, guy. I've been bad with YouTube, man. I just got caught up with the just collecting footage and just because with the platforms that I work with, you just got to make these little 6 seconds to 1 minute clips, and it's just
you're talking about the
easy.
shorts?
No, he's talking about like Shutterstock and other places like
Yeah.
that, where he's just uploading stuff and see if he
You
sells
just
them.
chop. Here you go. Lightly edit it. Get out the shaky, jerky movements. Keep it smooth. Upload. You know, YouTube with the copyright strike, and it just takes forever to upload the 4K footage, and it's just been time consuming. So I haven't been doing YouTube as much, unfortunately, but I'm still flying and I'm still, capturing, but I need to get back on there, but it's just been so demanding time-wise.
Okay. The test now is 175.
Adrian?
Yes.
Take that down. Your internet is so slow. I'll find this page and I'll put up
son
something.
of a gun. No, you didn't. Okay.
he thought he was at the missus' house.
Oh man, I'm like,
You forgot.
what's up with that?
It was probably playing in 120p. Yeah, my internet sucks. Hey, Mark White, how you doing, bro? Thank you for popping in. Brad Austin, thank you. Mighty Drone World, thank you for popping in. Lisa, thank you for popping in.
175.
All right. Hang on. Let me share it and we'll get some decent look at your stuff here.
Okay, Trey, all right.
Oh man.
Go on, Trey.
Much better.
We want to do the man justice. We want to get him some attention.
Exactly.
Not to have folks about his stuff is like crap.
That was the Mavic 3. That was my Mavic 3. That one I bring out when it's like beautiful, the sun is shining and there's not one chance of a raindrop. Then I whip out the Mavic 3.
Fuck.
Now this is Belmont Park. Where's this located at?
This is in Long Island. I was actually heading home, and I keep saying that I wanted to stop off, and it was a nice Sunday afternoon. It was nice and quiet. Nobody was in the park. Best way to fly. No attention. Do what I got to do. Come down and leave.
Oh, the colors are amazing, dude.
Yeah, it was a beautiful fall day, and I
just say that pre-fall look.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about New York. I have family in Florida. I got people all over, and they're like, when you moving, when you coming down? And it's like, I always say with New York, no matter how much you hate the weather, give it a couple of months, it's going to change. It's never the same for too long. So I get to appreciate the colors and the cold and the hot and a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Except that damn humidity. I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah, it could be brutal, but like I said, it don't last long. You give it a couple of months and it's gone. That's like when my family's like, come to Florida, I can't deal with that humidity. That's just I can't breathe in that, and that's for months.
Now, see, the one thing you did it twice in this video already, and then you do it right now, is the slight tilt of the camera. Yeah. And I tell people, this is when you go out and fly, and you just out there burn the battery. These type of things, I tell people, you got to try to train yourself how to do
dynamic movements.
Dynamic
movements. On the aircraft and moving the camera.
Yeah, I try to do at least 3 at a time.
Yeah, and that's why I tell folks,
tilt. I got to do it. I try to. Otherwise, it's just, I try not to.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people how you practice that stuff, and that's where you get that cinematic feel. It's one thing to do an orbit and it's just orbiting around flat, but when you start throwing that camera moving in there a little bit while you're orbiting or even when you're panning, it just gives more of a cinematic feel to the shot. And
try not to rely on the technology. I mean, as much as Spotlight is where you just highlight the thing and then just fly around, but it's just something different about controlling both sticks yourself. Because then it's like automatic, and now it's like losing the excitement and the thrill of just
like the organic feel of doing it yourself.
You're just highlighting it. It's like it's cool and it comes out nice. And if you're in a rush and you're trying to get that shot, it comes in handy. But when I'm in the zone of just enjoying the moment, I want to use both sticks.
And that's why I try to tell people that learn to fly manually. Now I tell folks, I said, don't worry about how fast you're going. Do it slowly until it becomes second nature. And I said, as you get better at it, you'll find yourself be able to do it faster and faster because everything's second nature. And that's how you learn how to fine tune your settings on your controller. To, like I said, I know for my gimbal settings for the camera itself, it's down to about 10 or 11. That's standard for me. And that's why you don't get that abrupt stop. It kind of just slows down to a nice slowly stop when you tilt that camera. And the same thing when you're doing anything else. You just want that nice smooth movements.
As well as being confident in a situation where shit's about to hit the fan. You want to be able to control it manually and not rely on the, because there's going to be some oh shit moments where you need to take over and do what you need to do. And if you're sitting here trying to rely on circling a box and there's an emergency. The other day I was flying the Mini, as a matter of fact, and the wind was kicking up a little bit. I did a hyperlapse because I wanted to just test out how well it would handle. It was it was in the operating limitations, but it was still a lot, and it was enough for me to say, all right, I wanted to just put it in sport mode and just push the limits outside of the time lapse, and I got this over voltage warning. And I was like, whoa, and I immediately just got off the sticks because you know how it is when you panic, you think you're gonna push more, stop, get off the sticks. And it was like that moment of confidence of we're good, got back on, and I did what I need to do, put it back in normal mode, and I dropped the altitude a little bit, and it was again that confidence of take it easy, don't rely on the trust the technology, but don't rely on the software too much. And it was a nice feeling to be able to. I was just saying how to my 2 years ago I would have been in a complete panic, or but it was just nice to deep breath, look at what was going on, clear the screen, put it in. So it's really important to practice and get the comfort of being behind the sticks.
We're going to show one of your time lapses right now of the bridge, and let's see what we got going on here.
The bridge. Oh, that guy. Yeah. That was my Mavic 2 Pro, I believe. It's looking a little jerky.
Is that the Verrazano? What is it? The Verrazano Bridge?
No, that is the Kosciuszko Bridge. I probably pronounced it wrong, but Kosciuszko.
Was it always been the Kosciuszko Bridge?
It was always that name, but it was redesigned and there was a whole beautiful rededication. As you see there, it crosses Greenpoint, Brooklyn to Maspeth, Queens. And it was the previous one was a nightmare because it was steel. People were slipping and sliding over it. It was old, and the traffic was always horrific on that thing. This is much improved.
Shot right there.
And
nice.
This is with the Mavic 3, the tele lens. Are you using the tele lens?
This was my I believe this was my Mavic 2 Pro.
Okay.
I can't. No. I'm sorry. This was the Mavic 3. I'm sorry. This was the Mavic 3. Yeah.
Great shot.
Thank you.
Hey, brother. Welcome, Gary Brown Aerials. Subcat Skills, Brad. Thank you for popping in. Really appreciate it.
You spend some coin on that, huh? Now, oddly, can you guys fly over George Washington Bridge over on the Hudson side, or is that off?
No, because the Hudson River has its no-fly restrictions because of helicopters and seaplanes. You can, but you can't go over the water. From certain parts of the New York side and certain parts of the Jersey side, but you're technically not supposed to be over the Hudson.
Okay.
But that was overland, and where I am in Queens / Brooklyn, it has its own, I think it's 196-foot altitude limit. That's why you notice I didn't get too. You notice I didn't get too high there. But yeah.
You've been doing any casual flying lately, Al?
Casual flying. I flew the Avata this morning before the rain came.
Oh,
I got in a
okay.
few packs. Nothing to like to put on, on YouTube.
Mhm.
I just flew to fly.
Yeah.
Just kind of just like relax and kind of like burn off frustration and stress that I got coming up or what's
Oh,
to
yeah.
come.
Yeah, I hear
Boning
you.
is good for that.
I was originally born and raised. Actually, don't remember that bridge.
I'm telling him now that's in Queens and Brooklyn.
Somebody try to steal your truck, Adrian?
No, no, everything's good. Just receiving some notification over some BS that I guess I'm registered to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this the little short thing I put together today. Let me.
Is that the one? You know what? Like Ali asked you earlier if you have the Mavic 3 on that short that you did. I thought that was the Mavic 3. You know how they have the little strap thing, look like a freaking jack strap, but that's actually the Mavic 2. Which one is it, Dre, that you have? The Mavic 2 Pro Advanced Enterprise. Which one is it?
Yeah, Enterprise Advanced.
Yeah, that one. I thought that was a Mavic 3 when I first seen it.
Yeah, Dre, this is the video I was talking about. I love these slow shots of the equipment.
Yeah,
Very nicely done.
and like I say, I just happened to have that extra strobe, and I said, let me sit this down next to it and just have it just flash as I slowly bring it around there, just give it a little effect and stuff.
Yeah, oddly, you got a request from the ambassador of the drone community, Captain Ray.
Oh,
when
Captain
he gets back
Ray.
to New York, he wants to fly that bridge with you.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Let me know. Absolutely. Yeah, Ray's the coolest guy, man. That's why I said it was like an hour plus out of my way, and he'll tell you I brought my wife, I brought my daughter. I was like, we're going for a ride, and they're like, it's early. I'm like, get in the car, we're going for a ride. And it was nice. It was a nice, and they were happy to go because it was a really nice sunrise we catch with Captain in one of his secret spots.
Yeah. Captain got more secret spots than the U.S. military.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Ray, you ever think about unloading this since you got the M30T?
No, dude. No. Yeah, I got two of these bad boys. It's like I said,
I thought that was your Enterprise. That one was your
no. That's just my
your Mavic 2.
Yeah, Mavic 2 Pro. Yeah.
I'm so tempted. My wife would kill me. I should talk a little lower, but that Mavic 3 Enterprise, not the thermal, just the Enterprise looks like such a fun thing just to have. You know, the 56 times zoom, and I was just looking at the specs, and I'm like, I really shouldn't. But man,
yeah. And that's why I say that's the one big advantage of it has over the Phantom 4, V2 is the zoom part of it. So it gives it that extra ability in that area. But it's like I say,
the color science is nowhere near what the Mavic 3 is. So you're not going to get the same color science. It's like
I figured. Yeah, that's why I was just looking at just being silly. Because the controller's not much different either, because it said RC Pro Enterprise, but it's the same.
It's RC Pro. You just have the Pilot 2 app on there. So,
okay.
You don't have the Fly app on it.
Does it give you the option of having the Pilot 2 and the regular Fly app?
No, you can't upload. DJI.
Like I say, with the smart controller, I have everything from the original Go app, Go 4 app, and the Pilot app all on my smart controller.
Yeah, but how old is the smart controller, Dre?
Well, that's what I say. That's how old it is. But I'm surprised. Well, I'm thinking with a drone.
Talk to me in 3 years or 4 years when the Enterprise is that old. Then it may have all those things on.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I know the Fly app is usually the primary app for all these new drones. So that's why I'm surprised that, if the RC so-called Pro controller can control, I don't know, that thing is so weird where it controls the Mavic 3, but it won't fly the Air 2S. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I like that one control you have for your M30 though.
Oh yeah. Oh, I gotta do it. That's one of my next videos I gotta do this week coming up. I just got the harness for it, the strap. Sucker cost me $50, man. I was pissed.
Wow.
They charged me shipping. They charged me shipping.
Yeah, is it leather strap?
It need to be leather strap.
It better be.
No, and it fits great, but I was just like, it was like $35, and I'm thinking, okay, DJI sent it to me. The only guy here, it took it like 2 days because the warehouse is right down at Cerritos, down the street from my house. But then they charged me another $12-13 in shipping. I said, how? Yeah, I said, how dare DJI? Like they actually sent it from China. And I said, I could have drove down to Cerritos and got it the same day I bought it.
Yeah.
and wouldn't even spend that much in gas.
How much is that controller weigh, Dre? That for the MT30T?
I haven't put on the scale, but it's just
2-3 pounds. Maybe?
No, I say maybe a solid pound, maybe a pound and a half. But it's like a big screen TV. It's not so much the weight; it's just the size. It's awkward.
Yeah,
and like you say, it's awkward to hold for a long period of time. And like I tell people in my videos, if you think you're gonna grab this thing around both hands, you're gonna touch buttons, and that's part of the problem. You're gonna touch some buttons.
Click on something, yeah.
Right, and that's what I say, because there's like 6 buttons across the outer edges of the face, and then you got another 4 or 5 buttons around the back. So there's really no place to kind of like put your fingers around where you can just kind of like relax them. You got to put them in certain spots, or you will touch something else.
Can you put it on like a tripod?
Put each finger.
Well, like I say, I was going to ask you about that. Now, doing autonomous flights, tripod, no problem. But how do you feel trying to fly with your controller mounted on a tripod and you're flying manually?
I only use that when I am mapping.
I say autonomous.
Yeah, right, autonomous. I got strapped with it, and that was a demo unit that Dobo partner who lives out here. Right. I met up with him, and he kind of kicked down. He's like, "Hey, check this out." We threw this 1/4-inch nut in the back. Let us know what do you think? And I thought it was a great piece of equipment. I mean,
yeah, because I'm thinking if I'm flying manually, I'm gonna have a new dance partner because I don't stand still. I'm gonna be swinging this thing around and doing this and everything else, and it's gonna be Fred Astaire and 3-Legged Ginger out there. That's just me. While I'm flying, I'm always kind of fidgety and moving and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, I meant to ask you about that. Are you still flying that? And when you're flying manually, with autonomous mode, that'd be great. No. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I just think the screen on the RC Pro is too small, and it's not really bright enough.
Yeah. And
I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I can't see. I mean, it's perfect for the hands, but it just seems smaller. Yeah. Would like it bigger.
Like I said, it's just like with my old Crystal Skies, the 7-inch was, and even with the RC Pro Plus thing for the M30T, just because you got a bigger screen, they just throw more crap on it. There's just so many more things on the screen, and you're like, wow. It's just you're not getting much actual viewing of anything. You just got more stuff to look at.
Now with that remote, Dre, is it 2,000 nits or less than that?
It's 1,000 nits.
1,000, okay.
It's 1,000 nits.
Well, it's only 1,000, Dre? It's not 1,200?
It might be 1,200. I know it's at least 1,000. It might be 1,200.
Because I think the RC Pro, is 1,200 nits.
Yeah, it might be
wrong. I could be wrong. Something tells me it's 1,200.
I just know it's a great screen, per se. Like anything else, if you get direct sunlight on it, it's going to be diminished a little bit if you're flying something critical. Like if you're close to a building or something like that, you're always going to want to be in a shaded area so you get all the contrasting colors and everything that you need to see, what you need to do. But
I didn't want to interrupt. That RC Pro is only 1,000 nits.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 nits. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. So like I said, for just general flying in open spaces, oh, it's sufficient. Just like my Apple tablets, they work just fine. If I ain't got to worry about it. But if I'm in a critical location, oh yeah, I'm crouching behind the shadow of the car, and all this kind of stuff, because I don't need to be at no moments, like
Or turning around and having the sun behind
Right.
you, and you're using your body as a shade.
That type of stuff, and then you got to worry about, okay, is the signal penetrating me?
Right.
All that kind of stuff. Because that's one thing, the M30, it will get away from you quicker than you think. I mean, I'm not talking about feet. That thing will be down range a mile and a half before you blink.
What's top speed on that thing? 60, 70 miles?
55.
55?
55 miles per hour.
Hey, that thing, how you doing, buddy?
And that thing will be downrange before you know it, dude. You be up there fiddling around and you forget you got that thing full throttle with that right thumb and stuff, man. You actually look up and like, dang, I need to bring this thing back. Because it's moving. It is moving.
The sensors on that thing, I was watching a video. It's like, it's incredible how many safeguards there are on that thing to not crash, or help prevent things can happen. But it's nice to see how many different ways that thing will keep you safe, man. That thing is a monster in a good way.
It's I mean, because it has so many different features, and like I say, this, having a zoom camera, this capability, even that takes getting used to flying when you're zooming a little bit, because you'll find yourself taking wider angles than you normally would if you were not in zoom mode.
Right.
And stuff. And that's why I say about the thing and get away from you. I was doing an event a while back, and I'm like, in the far end of the campus, it has a TV tower, antenna at the far end. And normally I would not go anywhere near that in regular camera mode. But like I say, lucky I was at a high enough altitude. And like I said, it kind of shocked me, because as I'm orbiting around the campus, I figured out I was off campus because the tower comes right in front of my picture. I'm like, holy smokes. I didn't know I was that far back out, And I'm lucky I was high enough in altitude, but I see it coming across my screen. I'm like, dude, what am I way out here for? I should be, several hundred yards inside of it, because I've flown that location before with, my 2 Pro, and I'm like, didn't go nowhere near that, stuff. I took the M30 out just to see how it would fly and test the zoom out. And like I say, it's almost like your depth perception changes to what you normally would, and you're out flying out almost twice as far you normally would.
I'm sure that plays in effect when you got 200 times zoom on that.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're thinking you're closer because you got that zoom ability, and it's so clean and stuff that you're like, okay, no problem. But you're farther out than what you normally would be. So I say there's a lot of things about that you just got to check yourself sometimes, and like I tell folks, pay attention to your telemetry. I don't care what you're flying. I say, because I tell people all the time, 9 times out of 10, your telemetry will tell on you in a heartbeat. When people talk about, all of a sudden my drone just took off and flew the other direction, and the first question I ask people, I said, what did your telemetry say the last time you looked at it?
What was your last message?
Yep. And I said, were you down to 2 bars, 1 bar already? You should have been coming back, or 9 times out of 10 they can't tell me anything. And I said, well, you need to pull your data off your controller and see what's up.
Got any wind warnings? Any battery limitation warning?
Yep. Because you'll get people talking about, oh yeah, I was down to about 13%. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, maybe it just landed.
Mark R. White, the only thing I can upload on the Enterprise RC Pro is Drone Deploy, and I think the other one I cannot think of it. I don't use it, but there's another mapping app you can use. Not Litchi. Litchi, I think it's coming up with something with an SDK, but I think it might be for the Mini 3 Pro. Maybe you guys can.
What about Pix 4D?
I don't know about Pix 4D. I don't use that.
Okay. Yeah. They kind of fall off when that Pix React didn't take off the way they thought it was for law enforcement. I mean, a couple of people were even advocating for it and stuff, but it just didn't take off. Just like the Sky Browse is not really taking off. I was testing that thing out, and I was just
exactly. Is that a
Sky?
mapping? Is that
Sky. It's Sky Browse and Pix React are accident recreation software. It's a mapping, but it's probably geared for law enforcement to recreate accidents. All it does is just you set the area where it is, and it'll fly an orbit taking all these different pictures and stuff, so it recreates the accident scene. But like I tell them, I said it's good for a Skydio drone if it would support that. Most of them don't, because a Skydio drone has more sensors and is better at avoiding obstacles, because most of the time you're only flying right about 100 feet. So you're very susceptible to run to tall trees, because usually trees are 100 foot is right at the limit of a tree most of the time if it's maintained properly. So if your telephone poles, street lights, 50 feet. The street lights itself about 30 feet. The actual power poles can go right about 50, unless you got the real high tension wires. They're right about 100 and some change and stuff. But like I say, if you're in a downtown area, you got buildings that are over 100 feet. I would not want to risk a DJI drone, because their sensors are just not good enough. And this is going to be autonomous flight. Now, maybe, like I said, Skydio, I would maybe have a little more confidence in a Skydio drone, because it has a better obstacle avoidance system on it using that software.
So Ali, right now your go drone is the Mini 3 Pro.
It's a toss up between the Mini 3 Pro and my Air 2S. My Air 2S is still very reliable when it comes to darker circumstances, and I can't really rely on the sensor on the Mini 3. But if I really need that shot and it's dark and the weather is good, then I whip out the Mavic 3. That's my prize baby that I whip out when I really need to get the shot, the perfect shot, but in a dark environment. But the Air 2S and the Mavic 3 is my go-to.
Have you used that night mode yet on the Mavic 3?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's pretty incredible. Noise reduction and things that you can do to kind of emphasize the darkness. You don't have to use as much when you play around with that night mode. But that's incredible. But I don't do too much in the way of night shots, because old man eyes ain't working as well as they used to.
Okay.
I try to stay away. I hope, when people ask for night shots, I'm like, but I try not to shoot at night too tough.
Yeah, because
So when it comes to night mode, can you adjust the ISO, the exposure, the BS? Oh, you could do that. Okay.
You could play around with it. Yeah, it's just that sometimes it's over processed. Sometimes it looks too overdone. So I don't use it. I don't play with it too tough.
So too overdone when it comes on auto, or when you start messing with it?
Both. When you leave it on auto, it looks to me it looks too over processed. And a lot of the, like Al was saying, when you send your files to some clients, they don't want it overdone. They want to do their own thing to it. So you want to be as light on the editing as possible. So I try not to use any automated software that processes things on the fly. Like the Mini 3, one of the things it does that drives me nuts is when you take a picture, it takes a RAW and a JPEG. The second I get home and I transfer, I right away go to my JPEGs and I just delete them. I just dump them. I'm like, I don't even want it. So I don't like anything that's processed for me.
And you're processing all your edits through Lightroom when you do hyperlapse, right?
In my photos, yeah.
Yeah, your photos.
I'm doing, and my and then I dump it into Final Cut Pro and adjust the duration, and then I do more editing there.
So from your raw pictures, how do you know from raw you've done the perfect editing just to make it pop? How do you know?
How do I know?
Yeah, how do you
Well,
know when you got the picture just edited good enough that people will actually like it?
You know, I use my I use my daughter a lot. I'll get my own, like, okay, that looks good, and then I'll walk away. One thing I learned when I did music, walk away and then come back, and you'd be surprised how it looks completely different. You know, you'll edit a song or you'll edit a picture and you'll say perfect. You'll walk away and come back and go, God, the lows look terrible, or you'll see something. So I'll walk away, come back, and then ultimately I'll ask my daughter to look at it. She has a creative mind as well, and she'll tell me, like, you know, that look, I don't like that, or this needs to come up, or that's too bright. So that's my thing. I sometimes it's just a feeling, and then sometimes just walk away, and then sometimes just get another opinion.
Okay.
But I try and keep it simple. I don't want to do, you know, sometimes, when you oversaturate and just over process stuff, it just loses. You know, I try to capture what I saw when I was there. I don't want it to look like it's overdone. So I try to be as minimal as possible.
Got it.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like a dumb question, but I have to ask.
No, man. Hey, listen, there's no dumb questions. You know, it's
'Cause
just dumb answers, I guess.
if I'm not mistaken, a JPEG
Learning
picture is
every day.
pretty much done for you. Like, you don't have to do any editing with a JPEG picture.
Yeah, JPEG, the software is done there. What the creators of the software thinks is a good looking picture, and sometimes it looks good, but sometimes, in my opinion, it's usually too light. The highs are too high, and the quality is just, if you try to zoom in, the quality is not there. So yeah, no, I literally immediately dump my my JPEGs, the automatically processed JPEGs. Yeah, good point, Uncle Bill. I agree with that. No dumb questions, just dumb people.
So you do have the choice to shoot in RAW and JPEG, or you could just do it in RAW.
No, in the Mini 3, for whatever reason, when you click
both.
RAW, it says RAW and JPEG.
Okay.
So the second I dump it over, I just go right through it and I just delete all the JPEGs, and then I dump it over. So because I mean, you got to be mindful.
I think the only good thing about that is if you're out in the field and you want to open up a picture to see what it looks like, you're going to have to open up your editor. And if you could just jump on the JPEG and see it real quick, you're good to go.
Right.
And like you said, dump it later on.
Right. Joint Photographers Expert Group. This one. But yeah, it's all personal preference, personal taste. What I've learned, though, is, like I said, a lot of my education is from Shutterstock and Wirestock and all of these photo websites that I upload to, because they'll tell you right away, like, too much grain, too much technical this. They're the harshest critics, but that's how I learn, because I know what not to do. And it teaches me how to.
Do you go with just Shutterstock, or do you have like a?
Oh no, I
maybe
have
two or three you roll with.
I got about 12 of them. I'm obsessed with it. It's like, what I do is I learn.
You've had success. You must be having success doing it.
I'm doing pretty good. I cannot complain. One of my favorite things when I get to buy drone accessories, I tell my wife, it's paying for itself, and it literally is. It's like what's great about it is you upload it and you forget it, and you'll be reminded of a picture you took 2 years ago and somebody just bought it. So it's kind of nice that it's like music on iTunes. You upload it, and every time somebody plays it and listens to it, you'll get a little something. It's not a lot, but when you have it on multiple platforms and you have thousands of images and videos on each one of them, it adds up, and it's a nice little surprise when you get that email and you get that. You have a payout.
Are you doing more video, or are you doing photo?
I do a combination of both. I do a little bit of both. Like I'm one of those that, as I'm flying, I'm constantly flicking between picture and video. If I'm in a certain location, I'm like, because I don't take pictures from video. I'll flip back and forth, and I'll take a picture, and I'll flip back and take my video. But I do a little bit of both.
So it's best to, when you use these services like Photostock and others, is to submit raw photos.
Yeah, you want to, well, not raw. You want to submit
Well, I mean,
the best quality.
you doctor them up a little bit,
Yeah.
but don't overdo it. But I'm saying you still keep it in that raw format per se. I don't do hardly anything as far as with post work when it comes to still shots.
Yeah.
You know, that's just I've never really played with it. So I say my thing is JPEG works fine for the people I deal with, so that's what they get and stuff. But I want to learn more. Like I said, I like to put some stuff on Shutterstock. Like you said, they're nitpicking. I remember I submitted some stuff, and they're like,
that's passive income if you can get some money from them. That's a nice.
Getty Images is the worst. Getty will hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
you sit there thinking, this shot is hot.
Yeah.
So out of all the ones you do, what's your preferable one? What's the best one you would like recommend?
For video is Black Box. Black Box pays well, and it's a pain in the neck because you have to not only describe the video, you have to keyword it, and when you describe it, you have to be like, dolly in, boom up as the camera trucks right and pans left. Like you have to tell it very detailed what's happening, because if someone's looking for that kind of a shot and you have the right words in it, you can have the best shot in the world. If you have the crappiest keywords and nobody's going to find it.
Yeah, nobody finds it. Yeah.
So you have to keyword it and describe it. And I've learned a nice little, format as to be descriptive as possible and use the right words. Like today I was at, Williamsburg Bridge. So of course, Williamsburg Bridge, as I'm doing something, as I'm flying, I'm thinking of the keywords: cloudy day, New York City, Brooklyn, southbound, aerial view, landscape, cars, traffic. So you have to keep thinking of these things that will be pertinent to the video. Otherwise, nobody's going to find it. It's like Google search and SEO and so you have to think about those things all the time. So it can be daunting at first, but I've gotten so used to it now. I got a whole copy and paste format. I know what goes where. I have a whole spreadsheet of things that I use often. Like, yeah, because pretty much every video is aerial, landscape, drone shot. So there's a couple of words that you can just copy and paste, and then you just fill in to make it specific to that shot.
Right. That's interesting, because I dabble with one or two pages, and like you said, they're ripping me a new one. I'm like, dude, you want me to submit? You want me to submit something or not?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
I'm trying here. Yeah.
I'm trying to learn the ropes, and construction. You got all kind of branding stuff. You got Caterpillar. You got Link Belt. You got all these different things. You can't have none of that stuff in your shots.
You can't have none. No copyright stuff unless you upload it as all. Yep. Otherwise, you got to upload it as an editorial.
Right.
And if you upload it as an editorial, then you got to be even more specific. What city, what state, what date, what time. So it could be a pain in the neck.
Yeah. And I mean, I even took some of just playing football field, but because they had the school logo on it,
no
go.
Do that.
No go. And stuff.
Can't have that. Can't have recognizable faces. Can't have recognizable brands. But the best part of it is the learning experience of those criticisms, because it taught me how to shoot better and how to edit better. Because you had professionals criticizing your stuff.
Yeah.
The chrominance is too much. I'm like, chrominance? What the hell is chrominance? Right. They're like giving me criticism. I have to like look stuff up the first time. Grain. I mean, there's like sometimes they'll beat you up, and then sometimes they'll even tell you it looks too similar to something that's there already. Yeah. So if you shot a sunset over beautiful waters, there's a million sunsets out there, and if it looks, they'll chop you up and say no, too similar to what's out there already. So every flight has to be as unique as possible, which is the fun part. I was just going to
ask you that. Yeah, like what are your most unique shots that they buy? It's got to be like landscapes of New York City, backdrop.
Nope. Believe it or not, top down.
Top down.
Breakdown. Top down. For whatever reason, I have like the goofiest shots where I'm like, all right, I'm coming in because my battery's dying, and I'll just take a shot because I'm coming home, and those will sell. I didn't even line it up. I was just coming in, click, 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 click. And because I'm looking straight down, they love parking lots. I don't know why. Empty parking lots where you can see the lines of the rows of the.
I'm gonna say it's the lines. It's the
the
line that
patterns.
makes the
I love
art.
patterns,
Yeah.
solar panels.
Mhm.
Like I said, anything that has any kind of straight lines looking straight down
Yeah.
goes crazy. And I'm talking the best part of it is, you can't see who buys it, but you can see where they're buying it from. So you'll see, Dubai, Korea, Israel, and it's a really nice feeling when you're like, holy crap,
What a
there's
trip.
somebody in, Turkey looking at my picture right now, using it for some advertisement.
Now, Audley, do you lose any of the rights to the imaging once you sell it?
I
or
own the rights to
you
it.
keep
Nope.
on? Okay.
I can sell this. I've sold one picture like 150 times. One picture.
Wow.
So you own the rights to it. They can use it. Some people will just say image by Shutterstock or image by Black Box. Some of them will actually give you credit and give you the name, but I thought to myself, it's going to sit in my hard drive and in my closet. Nobody's going to see it. If I know that somebody somewhere in the world is looking at my image, that's good enough for me.
I like
And the fact that I'm getting paid.
I like that.
Crazy.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and the best part is, like, with Google search, when Google search came out with using a photo, you can reverse search and you can because it's against policy for you to know who bought it, but you can reverse search and you can find it. And I've seen it in a magazine or on a website, and it's kind of nice when you see your work being used like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
I think I sold one picture to somebody in Indiana, and that's probably because they used to live in San Bernardino. That was about it,
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Waters.
Hey, let me go and welcome Chris from Sunrise Water Media. Jody John Shots, thank you for popping in. Joe Fodoleo, Bob Casillero, thank you for popping in.
Yeah, like I said, I sell on there a lot of times. If you do the what you call the micro shots with regular DSLRs, those sell a lot. The little micro shots, real up close stuff, and everything else. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna be walking out in the forest to get a picture of a piece of bark in a blurred background.
Yeah. No, handhelds get good stuff. If you're doing any kind of like a march or a protest or anything that's like newsworthy, those sell really well.
Yeah.
Like when the Black Lives Matter was happening in terms of when they were actually riding them on roads.
Yeah.
So the combination of top down and then having that political statement. Like I did this video in Harlem when they first painted Black Lives Matter on the road. That sells like crazy. That's always selling. People are always talking about it, especially all over the world. So that was a nice combination of newsworthy and top down.
Right.
Have you
So
ever
could
seen
you say,
your work on the
oh,
news,
I'm sorry.
Ali?
What's that?
Have you ever seen your work on the news?
Not on the one picture got used on a Connecticut. It was a Weather Channel event where they were just talking about. It was like a talk show thing, and they just showed the image, and then it was gone. It was like Life in Connecticut or something, and I happened to have been visiting a relative in Connecticut, and I was like, let me just send it. And I took a picture, and it was one of my top selling pictures where it was just looking. It was fall, and the sun was shining on the top of the trees, and like the sky had like this pink hue on it, and it just the main residential street in Greenwich, Connecticut, and they used it in one of their. It was something to do with the weather. That's all I can remember, but not news.
Okay.
There was one thing where it was when people were lining up to vote. I think it was when Trump got the presidency. Obviously, the newsworthiness of that and all of what was going on, and people lining up. I got an aerial shot at the local library of people lining up, and that was used in a local news thing. It's more just for fun. It's just to say. Ultimately, like you said, Al, stress relief and you know, when you need to, that's what I do it for. And then this was just
Wow.
gravy that found a way to
Exactly.
make use of it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's cool.
Thanks for sharing that. You said, what was the video one? You said
Black Box Guild.
Black Box.
Yeah.
Black Box.
That one is.
And the
that
other one,
is,
and photo, what was for photography?
the photo is Shutterstock.
Shutterstock.
And Shutterstock, you can do video and
Yeah.
pictures, but they're more for pictures. Same thing with Getty Images. Getty Images can do video and picture, but they're strict as well. They're really
I'm sure.
strict. And then there's
Sounds
another
like
one
they're
called
strict.
Wirestock. Check out Wirestock, because Wirestock does video and picture, but they do a lot of the work for you, and they distribute to multiple platforms, so you can get more of your stuff seen on Shutterstock, Getty Image, and a couple of other places. So it's a nice way to get hit multiple sites with less work.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out Wirestock first though. If you're gonna go into it, Wirestock is the easiest way to get in terms of not being overwhelmed with the keywording and the describing and the you know, they have like this easy submission option. And you can do it manually, but do the easy submission option and they'll tell you right away. The only thing with them is they have like a percentage of your approval rate. So if if you upload 100 pictures, you don't want to have less than, I think it used to be 70%, because then they'll limit how much you can upload per month. So now they make it where you got to have over 85% approval rating. And again, that's them saying, oh, it looks too much like something else, or
Right.
it's too overexposed, or the angle wasn't right. So you have to be, with them, you have to be careful. Like sometimes I'll upload several things and you get to look it over before you actually submit it. Because if two pictures look too much alike, get rid of the one you don't like, because they'll tell you too similar. But do Wirestock for sure. Yeah, it was a JSK Enterprise says he uses Wirestock as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, try that. How do you guys get back to you guys? How do you, are you getting these commercial jobs because of referral? Are you advertising? How do you get the next gig?
For me, I could tell you, for me, I have a friend who is a general contractor, and years ago it started off with just doing kind of like free jobs for him, and then his company liked it, and it kind of just spread by word of mouth. And before I know it, I started having people emailing me and calling me and reaching out. So I do a lot of construction progress monitoring, a lot of pano photos, and I develop a web link page for them, and I put all the assets on it, and then I send it to them, and they share it with their stakeholders. Well, I don't know what they do with it, but I know they're sharing it with their team and stakeholders.
So they can see the progress without going on site.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. How about you, Dre? How do you?
Yeah, well, I got into drones because I was in construction as an inspector. Oh. So to me, it was just a matter of a tool to do my job. Instead of walking, especially when we started building all these tilt-up warehouses, and I'm walking, 1 million square foot facility, I can fly it. Just save wear and tear on my knees and hips and everything else. So that was, it was something I was seeing happening in the industry. So you want to stay on top of what's happening, in your field. So that's what got me into drones. Period. Was just out of my job necessity. So same thing with Al. I work with these developers, contractors and stuff. And like I said, it's like a circle. You'll see these guys again and again on different job sites. Sure. So same thing. They see me and everything else. So like I say, word of mouth spreads. Hey, you got a guy here who does this, yada, yada, yada. And when I was an inspector, the only rule I had for myself was I would not do any drone work for any projects within the city of San Bernardino, because I might be the actual inspector on that job. Mm-hmm. So that was me just being ethical in that part, but anything else outside of it. But now that I'm elevated above this and being an inspector, I'm the safety officer, so I don't have any real authority over these jobs anymore like I used to. I can work within the city, outside the city, and so forth. And then the same thing, I did my grunt work with a lot of these different little online businesses, Drone Base and Droners.io years ago and stuff to cut my teeth on it on the job and stuff. So, like I said, I don't actively pursue a lot of the work. Like I said, I turn down more work than anything.
They just come to you. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's because I still work at 9 to 5. You know, I said when somebody wants to come pay me 90 plus grand a year, okay, I'll leave what I'm doing here and I'll go work for you. Okay. Yeah. So like I say, you know, like for me, you know, a lot of these guys want jobs. Like Al can do stuff Monday through Friday. I go and do stuff on every other Friday and the weekends. And that's about it. So I could say I turn down more work than anything else because I just can't physically be there in my responsibilities within the city. Yeah. So and my biggest goal is right now is when I leave the city, I want one of those contracts, those city contracts, to continue to do work for the city. Right. That is the goal. You know, that I will provide a service with a contract with the city I worked for the last some odd years, and go from there. That'll be my retirement gift.
Yeah, that's my goal, to have, if I could get to a place where I could do this and fly when I want, where I want, and capture what I, you know, they'll give you ideas and say, all right, these are the shot requests for the month. You know, they'll say, get, you know, like say Pride Month, you know, get colorful whatever and get so they'll give you things and give you ideas, but to be able to make enough money to, you know, sustain the lifestyle strictly just taking photos, man, I'd be in heaven. Not having that day job, like you said, and just I'm sure we're all in that same boat. If we could just fly drones all day, right, and be paid for it, not be a day job though, you know.
Like I said, it depends where you're at in life. Like I say, once I retire, like I said, the house is paid for, all other expenses are done. Then, like I say, then it becomes more of a hobby for me that I still get compensated for. Like you said, I'm picking and choosing and everything, and I always pick, you know, Ken Donald is an example of a guy who's taking this on at his age, that this is his hustle. This is his 9 to 5, and
he's killing it.
And like I say, he's killing it. But like I say, he puts a lot of effort in it, and that's why I tell folks, you know, you're trying to pay a mortgage, you're trying to raise kids. There's a whole nother level of you know, that you got to be at.
Into it,
you know, you have to be hustling. You have to keep that foot on the pedal, because there's so much more at stake.
But that's the fine line, though, you know, and that's what makes me nervous about making it a professional thing like what you guys are doing. Because when I was a DJ, like I said, I did it for fun. And then I did it because, hey, you know what? Play the music you played in that club. And then I found myself doing the same shit over and over again because of the repetition of, well, we like what you did there, so do it here. And it wasn't fun anymore. Now it became a job. And I quit because it was, I wasn't getting the fulfillment that I was getting when it was just a hobby, you know. And that's what I'm afraid of with this is I don't want to do it where, like, you know, I had this thing with a real estate company, and the second it became a job, I was like, thanks, I'm out. But thank God I had a day job, you know, because I just don't want this drone to become, you know,
stressful,
you know, stressful, right? You know, and because then it loses what I got into it for, was to alleviate stress, you know. That's the hard thing with this. But if you can make it happen, more power to you. I tip my hat to those that can, like Ken and everyone else that can earn a living strictly from doing this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of fires and, you know, irons in the fire. That he's done other things with his printing and selling items, and, you know, and I know he still has affiliation with the was it the Florida Drone company that he partners with. DroneWorks. DroneWorks with Zach and stuff. So he has a lot of things going on, but it still is a hustle. And like you said, you know, he's got to a point where, like you say, people call him, and that's what I like about him now. People reach out to me, just like Al. People reach out to me, and then I can decide if that's a good fit for me or not.
Right.
You know, for
but
me.
That's nice to be able to turn down the ones that you're like, nah, it's not a good fit.
You
know, and it's not a, oh my God, I have to take it.
There's a lot of low ballers out there.
Right. Of course. And like I said, you know, with my connections in the industry, there's guys doing work all over and they want me to come out. And I said, well, dude, you talking about is one thing, but you got to bring a contract in front of me that's going to guarantee something, because, I've talked to some other people and I say, hey, there's a potential possibility of some work that might be in your area. I can't be there every day of the week. So if you're interested, let me know. So if it does pop off, I got somebody to work with me up there who can handle some things. And then I'll come up there and relieve you and handle some things. Because like I said, the money, I don't want the money to be the driving force. Like I said, I want to be able to relax and enjoy what I'm doing, but don't hurt to get, like I say, when it pays for itself, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
When it pays for itself, like I say, yeah, I went and bought this Mavic 3 Enterprise, and by the end of the year, I can say, yeah, I got it paid for, that's off the books, and go from there. So, yeah, it's nice.
Gary says, kind of what I felt. Commercial work took the fun out of it for me.
Yeah.
Only fly for fun on charity events. I could see that. That's why I fly the Avata a lot, because it's just something different. I don't usually fly that, so it's a blast to fly that at the FPV.
Do you get into FPV, Adrian and Dre?
Say that again.
Are you guys into FPV? I know Al is with the Avata. Are you Adrian and Dre? Do you guys fly?
I do have a DJI FPV drone, but I'm still not really into the whole loop and all. You know what I mean? All that crap. I'm learning. I mean, I'm getting used to it.
For me, I haven't gone there yet. I'm gonna pick up one. Like I said, I'm waiting for somebody who just getting tired of it, and it hits that price point for me. I'm sure Al will hook me up one day.
I tried, man. I tried even with the FPV and the Avata. I don't know. It's like I can't. I think it has something to do with my inability to. Like, I can't even have somebody drive me. Like, if I'm in the passenger seat, I'm nauseous as ever. So I tried the whole, what do you call it? The simulators. I tried it for a month, and I had because I was so like, oh shit, I'm getting into this. Even when I saw that, when the DJI FPV came through, because it had the GPS and it had some stability, so I could kind of rely on it. I was all right. Let me try that. I was sick as a dog. I had the worst headache. Because every FPV guy was like, "Don't worry, you'll get over it." Nope, I was sick. I was like, I just had like a constant headache. I always felt dizzy. I wish I could, but
now for me, I'm always concerned on that part as far as I'm not comfortable sitting down and flying. And then people say if you sit down, that's the way to do it. I said, I'm
gonna stand up, lean up on something.
Yeah, I'm a stand-up guy, and I mean, that's what I got to figure out. Will I be able to handle it? Because I'm a stand-up and fly. That's just the way I am. I just can't get into this. Sitting down in a chair and fly. That's very uncomfortable for me.
Well, I
find myself flying.
Leaning up on a
wall. I wind up leaning on the wall. Yeah, I wind up looking down when I stand up. My head's down like this. It'll look like I'm looking at the controller. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah. So I say one of these days I'll get to try it out and see and stuff. But I know I can't sit down. Like I said, when you talk about flying in a car, I couldn't do that because I have to get out. I have to get out of the car. No matter how cold it is, whatever, I would have to get out because I can't sit still. That's what I'm saying. I can't be still. I'm not running around the park a lot, but I'm fidgety where I'm moving over here, moving over there, looking up, looking down, all this kind of stuff. And I said, no, I can't sit in the car.
Joe says he sits when he pees. That's funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know he's messing around.
He's a sitter.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, so it's just like I say. I'm sure Al will send me something one day, and I'll get tried out.
There you go.
No more drones to send. I'm tapped out.
Yeah. Well, I would ask the keeper of the Smithsonian up there, but he might miss it too much.
Yeah. Guns and drones.
Yeah. So he's got. I'm sure he can spare his for a couple of months.
Adrian is not here. Please leave a message.
Yeah, That's why I probably get. We're sorry, the curator of the drone museum is out for the day. Would you like to leave a message at the beat?
That's funny.
And we might call you back.
Yeah.
Hey, brother Chris Wedgworth, thank you
Hey,
for
Chris.
popping in, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Nice.
Well, Adrian, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Yeah, it's about to be the 2 hours already. Time is flying when you're having fun. Thank you for popping in, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate it. Don't forget the drum meetup will be in about 3 weeks from now, April 1st. Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate it. That's all pretty much I got to say. Thank you for being here, Ali. Also, Al Diaz. Dre, any last words
It's a
before I
pleasure.
let the guests say?
Yeah, I just wanted to
You know,
Ali, the other guy, I like his videos for his editing work, Invincible Storms. I'm sure you know who he is.
Oh yeah. Anthony
Yeah.
Charles. Yeah.
Yeah.
His edits are
Those all do
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster with that. He's got so much patience when it comes to his hyperlapses.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes
Yeah.
in.
And that's the key word, patience. You got to have
Yeah.
patience when you're sending it up, and you have the patience when you're
Yeah.
editing it.
Yep.
But he I mean, like I say, he uses all different types of gear. Like I say, he uses the handhelds, he uses the gimbals, the DSLRs, along with the drones.
Yep.
He uses everything and puts it all together. And it's just with his editing skills, it just like I said, it looks like magic, dude.
Yeah.
You think he had a crew of about 5 people everywhere he goes or something.
Yeah. Real quick, I know we got to go, but for him, as we talk about him, that's my boy. I don't get to fly with him as often, but his edits, he picks the right songs. It's like not only does he edit right, it's just like the right song for the right scenery or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he puts it together well. Listen, man, it was a pleasure coming on board. Thanks for having me. Nice seeing you all, Al. Nice talking to you.
Nice meeting you. Man.
Ray,
Nice meeting
thanks
you.
again, and
Yeah.
a pleasure. Hope to see you
Pleasure
guys
meeting
again.
you.
always a pleasure. You're more than welcome every time, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you
Have a
guys.
good night, man. I'll see you later.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Al Diaz, any
All right.
last words, sir?
No, everyone. Thanks for
All right,
having
good
me.
night. Talk to you later then.
Take care. Audley, it was nice meeting you. Dre, nice
Same
talking
here,
all
man.
the
All
time.
right.
Everybody in the chat.
Man,
What's up?
he's so
Adrian,
freaking dry. Just good
Tell
night.
everybody,
Go. Just go.
tell everybody what you gave those people that knocked down your trees.
Uh-oh.
Was it a Corona
Hey,
special?
man.
No, let's just say he gave up one of his models.
They got
his
some
museum pieces.
they got some Mickey D's and some Happy Meal. You know what I mean? From me down. They good. Any last words, Dre?
No, I'm good, man. I'm great.
Thank you for popping in. God bless you all and good night.
Take care, everyone.
All the
All
best.
right.
Peace.